Welcome, everyone. Welcome to today's special of the Esteban Hour. How you doing? I'm your host, Esteban, and today is a special episode that's focused on Generation Z folks, young people. Now, we know that the election was a week or so ago. We know what happened with that election. And what had happened is that a lot of Generation Z young people came to the aid and support of the American people. And because of that, it put them over the line to win most of the races that was actually won. So I decided I wanted to speak to two of today's Generation Z's young people. It amazes me how much today's generation does not know about what's going on in the world today. They don't know what's going on politically, economically, and sort of financially, right? All they know is what goes on within their lives, their friends, their units, and that's it. So we're gonna find out why. Perhaps find out exactly what do they know, and maybe teach them just a little bit over what the hell is going on in the world today that they may not care about because it's all about partying and clubbing and drinking, but that they should care about because if it's not that it affects them today, it's going to affect them one day, and that one day could be tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, 10 years from now, but it's going to affect them. These kids, they kind of like need a training school of what to pay attention to. I asked two Generation Z folks today some questions, and I was amazed of what they were just clueless on. Let's meet these two Generation Z folks at this moment. First, we'd like to introduce to the panel for the first time. Say hello.
Hi.
Mercedes.
Hi, I'm Mercedes.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Welcome.
I am feeling welcomed.
All right, all right. And also, for the first time on the Esteban Hour is my daughter, my firstborn daughter, Bianca. Welcome to the Esteban Hour.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Bianca.
Hello.
How you doing?
I know they see the resemblance, of course.
Is that the first thing you want to come out with?
Yes, of course. Because,
Does everybody see the resemblance?
You have to. You have to.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
Well, since we have the camera on you first, my darling, let me pose the question to you first. And that question is, who is Nancy Pelosi?
I have a clue.
Okay. Next question. We'll post it to you, Mercedes. So, is it right for me to believe that you don't know who Nancy Pelosi is either?
Yes. Is I do not know who that woman is.
Okay. So I'm assuming then that means you don't know that her husband was just hammered, you know, in the head like 2 weeks ago.
I think I heard it on my mom told me. My mom's always watching the news.
Oh, your
But,
mom,
yeah.
but not you.
Nah.
Not
I
you.
watch the news sometimes. Well, now, because I haven't got no phone right now.
Okay. Okay. We didn't need to know all of that, but all right. Nancy Pelosi. So I guess since you don't know who she is, you also don't know what she does.
I want to say she's, of course, like in the political field. That's pretty much it. I mean, she has to be on TV or something like that.
Okay. She has to be on TV. Okay. We'll go with that. Yes, so she's on TV. She's definitely on TV.
Mhm.
Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House. Do you know what that is?
It's an important position. I believe they are able to run for president. I'm not really run for president, but more so like if the vice president or the president wasn't to be there, that was to be the person to take over.
Okay. Um, okay. Mercedes, would you like to answer that question or elaborate on that question?
Well, I said this yesterday. A speaker is a person that speaks for the group, and as she said, can be elected president if anything happens to both of them, the vice president and the president.
Okay, thank you, thank you. I was going to say, who's they? Who's they? Okay, so now let's keep it real. Did you know that, or are you repeating what I told you damn yesterday?
Repeating what you told me yesterday, but I have a very good memory because see, I took
I
that
knew it
along
first,
with me
though.
to the next
I
day.
didn't know though.
No, there was no. If I didn't know, you definitely.
I
didn't know.
knew because I answered. I just didn't know that they could be elected for president.
Okay. For the person who don't watch no news, I mean, I'm
Right,
just
I
saying,
answered yesterday.
You watch.
She did. She
She just didn't
she
recall
did.
'cause she was on her phone.
I think actually she answered a little bit more yesterday than you did.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, of course, she would. Okay, so moving on to the next question. Do you understand what inflation is?
Of course. Oh, that is. I can only. Getting into inflation.
Wait. The inflation we're talking about is, paying our bills, high gas prices.
Right.
We're not talking about your Louis Vuitton purse costing an extra $500.
But of course it's affecting me getting my Louis Vuitton purses and my nice quality things. I mean, going to the grocery store and just picking up things. I mean, I went to go get heavy cream, sour cream, just 3 things, and it came up to $20.
Do you even know what aisle that's in?
Dairy.
I mean, come on. That's really? I thought we're talking about inflation, right? So if it's just $20, my bill, $20. For heavy cream, sour cream, and a block of cheese.
You don't find anything wrong with that?
I mean, of course. That's $20. Some people make that an hour. I think it's ridiculous that it had to have come to that price, including gas and everything else. I mean, I don't know I hope it gets better. I mean,
so every time a meal is offered to you guys, like every time you have dinner, do you even care how much that dinner costs?
Of course. Yeah, especially if I'm cooking it.
Yeah, especially if someone else buys it for you.
What do you mean, especially if you're cooking it?
If I'm cooking the meal, of course I'm gonna be what do you call it? Money conscious. Unless I'm splurging and certain things. But you don't want to spend $50 on a thing of ribs or whatever. That's
that's exactly what's happening.
Exactly.
That's exactly what we're spending.
A carton of eggs is like $10 now.
So when you're concerned with your hair, your nails, your sneakers, do you not stop to wonder the price of these things, of how much more that they have cost within the last year or 2 years? I mean, it's a question. It's a good question to ask you young-minded folks that maybe because everything is done for you and then everything is brought to you, you may not understand.
Well, I do work at a supermarket, so I know I've seen it firsthand. The prices just going up slowly.
Did you notice a lot of people would complain on the line over a price?
Especially about like the discounts at the store say that they have, but it's not really any discount at all. Like, like the people literally fight for like 15 cents.
No, I mean, maybe 2 years ago that might sound stupid, but
yeah, but now
today,
it's like, yeah, I don't know. I think they're using COVID as an excuse to like just bump everything up, especially with all the free money that they're giving everyone.
They're getting smarter. So that brings us to a another. You're absolutely right. So part of the effects of inflation is not just the fact that things are costing more. It's also what's called price gouging. Okay, so a lot of corporations and businessmen are taking advantage of the fact of the post pandemic era and the fact of the war, and all the little circumstances and attributes that come with that to keep the prices high, and that goes for the oil too. The price of oil has gone down per gallon, but we're not really seeing that or feeling that at the pump. But do you gals actually care about these types of topics? Are you not concerned that or do you feel that this has nothing to do with you? You don't have to worry about it.
No, of course I feel like it has something. I feel like it should have something to do with anybody that has a job, period. Because anybody who has a job, who works for their money, knows, especially if they, know that the prices has been different otherwise, they don't want to continue paying those prices, especially people who work on, minimum wage. I mean, it's just hard as it is before, and now that things are going up, I think it makes it even harder for people, college students and people who are just getting on their feet.
What about for your parents? Do you have any do you have any sympathy for your parents?
Well, I do have a lot of sympathy.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm an only child.
Very commendable. Very commendable.
So I'm always thinking, like, especially last night, we was gonna order food. But then I was like, no, mommy, don't order food. Like, let's just make something quick. Cause that's just like the three of us spent like almost $40 on food.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and we just ended up cooking something easy, simple. I try not to make a hassle. Me before would have been like, no, I don't want that. Let's get this. But like now that like I gone through working and spending my own money, I feel like it's very important.
What about you, Bianca?
Of course I feel bad for my parents.
No, you don't.
Of course I do. Yeah,
no, you don't.
I do. But I also think that you guys are at a place where you're comfortable. You got your career going. You got everything. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are set. So it's like you already exceeded the limit to where you guys think the amount of... exceeded the amount of money that you feel like making for the rest of your life. That's not minimum wage. You guys aren't making a minimum wage. I'm speaking for the people who are, and and there's nothing against minimum wage. It's just the fact of like, for people who are in school, that's sometimes the only option is having a part-time job and unfortunately minimum wage. So it's like, I'm not speaking for the people who are already, making $100,000 a year and, buying a $10 carton of eggs is only a fraction.
I would graciously like you to change that word exceeded.
No. Why wouldn't I? There's always a way to make more money, but career-wise.
That doesn't mean it was easy to make it or easy to work.
Not at all. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying it's even harder for the people who don't have careers and is trying to get there, because those are the people that are most likely living in 1-2 bedroom apartments.
So are you saying those are the only people that you feel bad for, but you don't feel bad for your parents?
I said I feel bad for you guys. Of course I'm gonna feel bad for you guys. You guys are taking this money taken out of your pockets too, but it's not affecting you guys as severely as other people. That's what I have to say. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's horrible. But okay, you'll learn when you have children one day.
College.
You'll learn. Speaking for the what?
For the college students. Yes.
You better take advantage of it now, right? Next question.
Mm-hmm.
Is marijuana legal?
Of course it is. It should be in every state. I have no shame about it. I have no shame. No
and
shame.
Legal in California.
Absolutely no shame.
I don't know about anywhere else. I don't think Pennsylvania. No.
As long as you don't abuse it the wrong way, I have no shame.
But marijuana is not legal everywhere.
I know, that's the problem. That is the exact problem with the United States. That it's not legal everywhere. So how are you going to go ahead and make it legal in certain places? And it just, there's no point. If it's already legal in certain places, people are going to make their way, you know, go out of their way to go to those certain places to get stuff.
It only gets legalized by people voting to legalize it. So if it's not legal in some places, it's either because not enough people voted for it or voted to put it on the block to be voted for. That's where a lot of y'all come in, where you can help quicken the pace, but not just on that. How about abortion? What do y'all think of this situation with Roe versus Wade being reversed? I know y'all know about that, right?
Yeah, I do, but I just can't really speak on that because I can't. It's just, you know, everybody's situation is different. I don't really know, but I don't think it's right not giving people that, you know, that option. That's their body. That's what I want to explore into. Do you ladies understand what the abortion theme is? It's not just about I can't have an abortion anymore. It's about not being able to have contraceptive. It's about not being able to even in a health emergency, you have you're growing a baby that you wanted, but something happened and there are complications and you cannot abort that that pregnancy. What do you feel about that? Which means horrible. It's going to put your life in danger eventually. That's happening right now to hundreds, if not thousands of women that have to go through that. They're bleeding out because the doctor will not perform an abortion on them to save their life. What do you think about that? I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with the fact that they don't allow them to make the decision for themselves. Again, I can't speak on the fact of abortion itself, but at least give them the decision to do what they want with their body. I mean, at the end of the day, they're the ones that are, you know, is carrying the child for however many months they decide to have that child. Nobody else is carrying it but them. So why should, you know, somebody, one person or, you know, Congress or whoever dictate what that female should do with their body?
And that's the point. The point is pro-choice. Pro-choice, to allow you to do what you want as a woman with your body. Many people on the opposite side are saying, no, it should be up to you and the politician. So how would you feel if you wanted to make a decision with your own body, but you needed to ask your senator first if it's okay?
That's like an invasion. It would feel like someone just invading my life, telling me what to do. Like, especially some people are not financially stable to take care of children. They don't have what it takes to be parents. And people are going through drug addiction and like doing drugs while they're pregnant. Right. Like, some people like go through abuse, rape. Like, people should have that option. And that's even scary to think about, that you have to ask a senator for what to do with your body. Like, that's crazy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's the point that many women around the United States right now is trying to get at. So I'm basically trying to teach you of what's going on, that even though it may not directly affect you, but it could affect you indirectly today or 10 years from now. And also fellow women just as yourselves that have to deal with women's issues. And the only way we can come against to a point where you get your own rights back is by all of y'all banding together to keep your own rights. You can't say, well, I don't believe in that, so I don't have to worry about it, because then everyone's rights are going to be taken away. Just a little thought.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be like the marijuana situation. Like it's gonna be only legalized in some states, when some people are gonna have to travel to other countries to get abortion.
You mean other states?
Other states, country, like there's other countries.
That's exactly. Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which other countries are laughing at us right now because they things are pro-choice over there.
Right, because why should they care? Why there's bigger things to worry about that's going on that
It's
should
not.
be
I mean,
addressed.
that's true, but it's not so much about why should they care. More about that they're past that, been there, done that. Okay, women's rights remain, pro-choice remains, and that's it. And we're a laughing stock because we just went back 50 years, and took away what women had the right to do for the last 50 years.
I mean, in all honesty, what is the U.S. known for? Freedom. That alone is taking away women's freedom, of speech, freedom of right, like having their own rights, being able to, again, I don't want to keep repeating it, but making the decision for themselves. Like I feel like, and I'm sorry to say it, I don't want to sound like sexist or anything, but I feel like it's more of like the men that makes it a bigger deal. That makes it, it's like, oh my goodness, abortion there can be no, even thought of abortion. I don't feel like women really, if there was a woman dictator, or correct me if I'm wrong.
There are a lot
surprised.
Of women. There are a lot of Christian
yes.
Catholic women that do not want anything to do with that.
Yes,
that's true.
Absolutely.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot.
It's mostly these older women, mostly.
Yes, who want to push their feelings, their wantings, their beliefs on the rest of the country. Okay. All right. Next question. Did you know that a gay club was shot up last night?
Where?
In Colorado.
I did not.
I'm not surprised, unfortunately. I'm honestly not surprised. It's just so bad. I don't understand why. It's just so many hate crimes. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. It's just hate crimes at this point because there's no need for it.
Yeah, I don't know what possesses people to just.
Yeah, and I could compare that to a school shooting. It's like, what is the point of these actions? And I don't get it. And it comes down to the point where, unfortunately, people like this don't get a big enough penalty, in my opinion. I mean, when it comes.
What do you mean by big enough penalty?
Like for committing these crimes, depending on the certain states. So I don't know how Colorado is, but take an example, the Texas shooting. Like, I don't feel like the penalty, of what they get results the extent of their crime.
So you feel that perpetrators who do these offenses, you don't feel that they get enough time behind bars, or they don't get enough of a punishment?
Correct. And I do feel like the justice system is flawed in so many ways. It's disgusting at this point, because the fact that it takes so long for it to even come down to a decision. I mean, at that point, he's already been in jail for how many months, even years, before they come down to him being guilty, not guilty. And that alone sets back the punishment. There's no punishment that could come out for just as long as they were able to extend their trial, or be able to know that, they have a couple of months ahead of them for trial, that they don't have to worry about being sentenced.
And you can also compare your point with regular the regular judicial system in the black community. When someone just gets arrested over marijuana or right. something,
the extent of the crime is crazy. I mean, they're getting life to even death to penalties at some times, or no bail. It's nonsense. But then you have the people who's had homicides, drastic numbers, and it takes a lot to even point them in the in the guilty direction. You know what I mean? I actually saw something and I actually forgot the case, and I'm so mad I forgot the case. But it was a father who was very distraught of the school shooting because he's lost his daughter, and he was so mad that that school shooter didn't get the death penalty, and he'd feel like the jury took the side and kind of felt bad and felt guilt for the guy, that they didn't want to give him as much as the death penalty. And that alone shows that if he didn't have sympathy for anybody else, why is the jury and why are all of us in the judicial system having sympathy for him? That's my issue.
That's a good issue, and definitely something to be discussed. But you said it right in the beginning, where you said the entire judicial system needs an overhaul, needs to change, and there are millions of people that agree with that and would say exactly that the system is really bad. So I'm gonna throw another name out there to you. Do you know who Kyle Rittenhouse is? Have you heard that name?
No, never.
No. Okay. So Kyle Rittenhouse was a young man, a young teen, white boy who came from one state and went into another, or came from one county and went into a different county. Basically, he didn't live there. During the Black Lives Matter protests last year, I believe in the summer of 2021, and shot 3 people. 2 of them died. He basically put himself into the situation. You saw the television and the burnings and the protests when this was basically, I think, after George Floyd was murdered. And they were having all of those protests. He decided to take a rifle gun. I think it was an AR-15, and he wanted to, quote unquote, go protect the small businesses in that area. Instead, he ended up into a provocation with some other young men, and he felt threatened, and he shot him.
Just because he felt threatened.
Just because he felt threatened. They were. I'm not sure if one of them might have punched him or something. I'm not sure. But none of them had a weapon. Bottom line, none of them had a weapon, and he shot them all. Anyway, he was acquitted of all charges at trial. Okay, do you think if that were a minority, that would have happened, that he would have been acquitted?
Absolutely not. They would have given the most years possible, especially depending on their race nowadays too.
And I'm sorry, did you say a year?
Years.
Oh, years. Okay,
Years.
Okay, that's better. That's better. Absolutely. What do you think?
Of course. I mean, it's been a problem for years. It's been a problem going on for decades now. That, again, like I've been saying, the penalties are different. I feel like everybody gets a different sentencing. And it's not depending on the extent of the crime. It's depending on other things that doesn't necessarily relate to the crime.
Right.
And it also depends on the police of that state, because there's also, like, depending on the state, like, a lot of police, like, men, like, they're, like, controversial, and I think they just take that advantage that they have, because, like, they could write down anything in a report, really. Like, they could really do that.
And they do.
And they do. Exactly why I'm saying, like, I don't know, everybody just doesn't get the same share, like, of, like, oh, like, he did this, like, if a black and white man did the same crime, just one would get more than the other.
Absolutely. So I'm just trying to point out a couple of little things that are going on in this world today that you see is going on in your life at 20 years old right now. Could you imagine having a son or a daughter and going through this and having to go through this with your own son or daughter? Could you imagine that?
I feel like maybe like in the like in the early years when they're with you, like when they're in under your household, I feel like it's not that much of a worry until like they're in like high school, like when they have more freedom.
Absolutely. But
yeah, but I would definitely. I feel like I would be terrified. Like I have cousins that I feel like are almost my children, and like I will be terrified. Like I'm still like terrified. Like if anything were to happen to them in like in their school where they live, like it could just anything can happen anywhere.
I remember when we first moved here, about the third day after from moving up here, I was walking up the block and I heard something going on in one of the back alleys of the buildings. And I was like, what is that? What is that? So, my nosy self, first, the first time being up here, I wanted to see what is that? It was a bunch of police officers beating up some black kid in the garbage area.
Are you serious? That is crazy.
Yes. I didn't say nothing. I just minded my business and kept going up the block. But I couldn't believe it. I thought that, the police where I came from, where I moved from, were bad enough. And when I saw that, I was like, wow. Beating up the kid and I'll never forget that ever. Three couple of days from moving up here, from the city, and then I saw that a couple of more times even after that, but I saw that. So my point to y'all is that if you don't get involved, in at least knowing what's going on, I'm not saying that you've got to be power to the people and the writer, but at least know what's going on around you. Know about your finances, know about what's going on in the economy, learn about the stock market. I know you, Bianca, have questioned many times about learning more about the stock market. Now is the time for you ladies to do that, for your generation to get more involved, for you to tell your friends to get more involved and know which way you're heading, because you'll know what you can do about it. Any questions with that?
Not really. Nope.
All right. So I promised them that we would not stay on politics for too long, and that we would talk about something general that's going on in the in the media today. So what they chose is, and we won't hold you up too long. What they chose is a topic about a North Carolina woman, 25 years old, who was found dead during a friend's trip in Mexico. An autopsy had came out that had found that her neck was broken. These friends had said that she died from alcohol poisoning from drinking too much. But a video had recently surfaced about from her, and we're going to share that video with you. And this video shows her friends beating her up. Where did you learn of this video, Bianca? Of this story?
It's all over Facebook. Literally all over
everywhere. It's Instagram, Facebook, even Snapchat. I see it on Snapchat in stories.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because everybody's sharing it. I don't think she's ever gotten justice for it. That's why.
I mean, it's pretty recent, so it's still
When did this actually happen?
Oh, that I don't know.
Take a look at this. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Their own friend.
She's not fighting back. That's the problem. Like, if you're not fighting back, that's automatic.
Yeah, and all the other friends are looking and not doing anything about it. Like.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So what do you think about that? How would you feel if you went on a vacation and went through something like that on both sides, whether the girl who was being beat up or the one or being part of a group that was doing that. That was really bad. That was really bad. And look how pretty this girl
She
is.
was gorgeous. Like, they just took her life for nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't really actually know the depth of the situation, but either way, the matter of the fact is that whole situation is wrong.
But just by looking at that video,
It's horrible.
is really bad. And then knowing that she died, that she's dead now.
Mhm.
Maybe it's a different story if you see a video like that and the person is still fine. But she's no longer here, so it's like, wow, could that have been what really happened to her on a trip that was supposed to happen? What are folks saying online?
It was mostly, I think I seen her mother actually on the news trying to get justice, like saying that all her friends are saying a different story, that it was alcohol poisoning, that she fell, and
I think it said that her neck was broken.
yeah, her neck was broken.
but that was when the autopsy came back.
Right.
And she didn't have no alcohol in her system.
Right.
None
Right.
at all.
None.
Right. So the story, I guess, like kind of was believable at first until the autopsy came back that no, she had like bruising and neck broken, everything was like beaten up. And they were like, no, there's no way she didn't have any alcohol in her poisoning. That's how they knew something was up. And I guess that's how the video kind of like surfaced out.
What are the sentiments that you're getting from online? What are the comments? What are the notes? Have you what are the quotes from the family members? I mean, this must be very devastating. What have you seen?
Well, I haven't
Be
seen
a reporter.
I haven't seen any. I haven't seen any quotes, but just the mother really, especially she was devastated because she was upset that that they had came back without her daughter, and that she had talked to her on the phone. She had mentioned she talked to her on the phone, and after that she never heard from her. She was dead. So she didn't even get to see her or anything. Like, they just left her there. And I think it was like weeks, right? Like, I think it was like 2 weeks, right?
2 weeks for what?
Like 2 weeks that they found out that happened.
Oh,
Or was it right when they
I
came
don't
back?
really know much of the time frame.
Yeah.
I don't really know much of the time
Yeah, me
frame.
neither.
But probably it makes sense because they had to undergo an autopsy.
Yeah, so it'll take a minute.
In normal circumstances, they can speed it up if they wanted an autopsy back in 3 days, they could. Usually only for very high profile, or rich people, celebrities, whatever, would they do that. But in this case, I think it was 2 weeks.
Yeah, because they had sent her body from Mexico
Yes.
to here to do the autopsy.
Yes.
They're not gonna do the autopsy over there. She's American.
Right.
So they had to bring her from there to do the autopsy here, and the autopsy takes like 3 days, 2 days.
More or less. Again, depending on how many people you have on it, and how important it is to them, and how much money you're going to pay for it. So, what did y'all feel when you heard about that? I mean, again, could you imagine yourself going somewhere with 6 of your friends?
No, that's exactly why I don't have that many friends. Because you really never know. People are crazy, like, especially the kids these days. The kids are just not to play with.
It could have been plotted too. Like, could have been methodical.
Yeah, it could have been like meditated. Yeah.
There we go.
Premeditated.
Couldn't get the word.
And I mean, yeah, but that's really sad. That's really, really sad. Okay, so I promised you ladies that we wouldn't be here long. So we're gonna. Are you clapping?
I'm sorry, I'm not a camera person. No.
Yeah, she didn't. She.
No,
Yeah,
All
she
right.
didn't even
No,
want
sir.
to.
I thank you both for being a guest on the Esteban Hour today and representing Generation Z folks. I will demand that y'all come back in the future for whatever topic that I feel you
See
could
if we're
bring
more updated.
some. Say that again.
To see if we're more updated with what's going on.
Yes, I want to see if you're paying attention. tune out some of that Netflix and Hulu time and pick up a newspaper once in a while.
They got Sudoku on the newspaper.
Newspapers come in all kinds of forms and fashions, whether it's on the computer, whether it's on your iPad, a Kindle.
Yeah, we have a whole news app.
Okay.
We get notifications.
Basically,
that we don't use. Okay. Anyways.
Well, that's the problem.
We don't use it.
That's the problem.
No.
Basically, just learn and know what's going on. If we're about to go through a nuclear war, wouldn't you want to know that? Would you not want to know that?
Yeah. These days, we're just gonna have to see and find out when it happens. The day of.
If the water freezes or not, and the sea level is rising, which it is, wouldn't you like to know that?
Yes, I would know when I'm 10 feet underwater.
Okay, you'll be dead by then. But...
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
Where else would we go, really?
Exactly, when I'm splashing in water. Then
Yeah, we live in the town of hills.
But then it'll be too late at that time.
No, I can swim.
Okay. All right. So
all that's left is to go upstate from there. Can't go nowhere down there.
Just hope I don't freeze to death, but I can swim.
All right. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Mercedes. Thank you, my darling daughter, for supporting for once. Thank you.
Excuse me. Excuse you. Actually. Excuse you.
Yeah, we were supposed to do this yesterday.
That wasn't my fault.
Okay.
We had the itis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at each other. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So with that, we're going to close for today. That is the topic. If anyone has any comments or questions for any of our Gen Z lovely ladies or the topic at hand, you can go to any of the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and you can leave your comments there. If you've got any suggestions for any future shows, or segments or themes, you can also leave your comments there. As said all the time, if you have a goal or an accomplishment that you've achieved for yourself today, don't forget to say, this is how we do it. Good night.
Good night. That's it?